Hey, Curvies, let's try this again. So I was live earlier and it didn't stick for some reason. So come on in here, Curvies. Let's get this story. Okay. So it looks like, we're looking forward to seeing Apollo on Married to Medicine this Sunday in episode 11 of season 11 on Married to Medicine. Apollo Nida and Shireen are going to be on our cameras. And we found out some behind the scenes tea as to how that happened. So, what we know to be true from Dr. Heavenly, who I believe over Phaedra, obviously. To me, you guys can say what you want about Dr. Heavenly, but she is not a liar. She'll say things and take it right back, but she's not a liar. She is not a blatant, outright, let me pull something out of my ass and lie on you type of person. Whereas Fei has an interesting relationship with the truth. And everybody says that could be because she's a lawyer and you want a lawyer that'll lie for you. But I don't know. I kind of feel like it's a character trait that you try not to pass down to your kids, right? Because nobody wants to deal with the lying child. You teach your kids to tell the truth, right? So anyway, on your way in this morning, go ahead and smash that like button, smash the subscribe button. If you haven't already, ring the bell so you can get notified when we upload videos and stuff over here on LRGA Curves. Is that good? Yeah. So let's look. Phaedra Park's ex-husband, Apollo, is being divorced by Shireen for adultery and cruel treatment. The Real Housewives of Atlanta star, Apollo Nida, was hit with divorce papers just on February 7th, you guys. Today, so that was last Friday. Today is Wednesday. So on Friday, she filed for divorce. But let's look at this timeline. I already had the timeline figured out for us because I thought I was showing it to you guys earlier, but something happened. I don't know. In her filing, she listed the date of marriage as October 2022 and the date of separation a year later and prior to the Ring camera incident in November 2023. And then Shireen said that she's not asking for any alimony. She claimed that the marriage is irretrievably broken and that there's no hope we can get back together. In addition, she claimed that Apollo subjected her to cruel treatment and he had sexual intercourse with someone during their marriage and that he has intentionally and continually deserted me for at least a year. So she filed that in February. Apollo and Shireen are going to be on Married to Medicine on Sunday, and that was shot in July while they were separated. We're figuring stuff out over here on LRGA Curves. You know me in a rabbit hole, you guys. We're going to figure this out. So were they playing in our face? Was the conning us? Did Chanel Ayan have it right? And we need to know how to spell con man? Let's look. So she also wrote that Apollo had committed adultery multiple times throughout their relationship, and Apollo refused to seek help for his mental health issues. And instead, he emotionally and physically abused her and brought great emotional abuse to his stepdaughter. In her filing, she asked the court to grant her divorce, divide up the marital property and debts. On the same day, she filed in a settlement agreement she reached with Apollo that was signed in October. You see that? That was just signed in October. Now, the alleged deal read that the parties shall continue to live in the marital home. Each shall be free from interference and control by the other as fully as if unmarried, and each may reside at such place until both parties find suitable home and all the assets division has been agreed upon. Apollo also waived his right to collect spousal support per the deal. It's chilly this morning. Per the deal. By consenting to this. Oh, it also includes a permanent restraining order. It also includes a permanent restraining order, you guys, which is that's deep. How does your thing include a permanent restraining order? That's interesting. But it states that the restraining order says, by consenting to this, Apollo in no way admits such acts have ever been done in the past, but he agrees not to engage in such acts in the future. The deal appeared to be signed by both parties in October 2024, but was not submitted to the court until last week. When contacted for comment on Shireen's allegations, Apollo told In Touch, "I did not agree to anything. We will have our day in court. A lot of that language is false." Okay? As In Touch first reported back in March 2024, Apollo was arrested over an alleged simple assault following an incident with Shireen. The drama had started after Shireen called the police, claiming that Apollo had gotten physical with her. The police report said that Sharon told the officers she came home from a night out. Apollo and Shireen both accused each other of cheating when she got home. According to the police report, Sharon claimed that Apollo showed her a video of her kissing another man, which led to him pulling her hair and pushing her against the refrigerator. She said they got into a scuffle and she ran outside for help. She claimed she went back inside and Apollo was gone. According to the report, Shireen showed officers surveillance video of the verbal altercation, but none of the alleged physical altercation was on the footage. Apollo told officers he tried to take her phone during an argument and that when she balled up on the floor to protect her phone, he was still able to retrieve the device. He said his then wife ran outside for help, but he ran after her to give her her phone. Officers noted that neither party had any marks or bruises. Apollo was taken to local jail. He was released on $3,000 bond. The prosecutor's charging document read, Apollo Edward Nida with an offense of simple battery, family violence, a misdemeanor for that said accused in Fulton County on or about March 11th, 2024, did intentionally make physical contact of an insulting and provoking nature with a person of Sharon Copes, who is the present day spouse, by pulling her hair and pushing her. At the time, Sharon told In Touch, it was a huge blowout between a married couple that's brought them much closer since then. We have worked through our issues and have been going to couples therapy. The end. Sharon also denied accusations that she cheated. Now, Apollo's criminal cases have no movement in months. He was on federal probation because the bank fraud and identity theft. He was sentenced to 8 years in prison in 2014. And he was actually married to Phaedra from 2009 to 2014. Okay, he doesn't have any children with Shireen. So I did a little timeline, you guys. And based on the timeline, now we got some things to discuss. So if they got married in 10/2022, they separated a year later in September 2023. The ring video is from March of 2024, so after the separation. Then they show up on Married to Medicine in July of 2024. They have an agreement 3 months later in October of 2024 that they're just going to be in the same house together. And now she filed for divorce in 2025. So there's 9 months between the separation and their appearance on Married to Medicine. So now my question is, why did Shireen and Apollo go on Married to Medicine as a married couple when they were clearly divorced according to this paperwork? They were clearly separated. Okay. So the ring video had happened. He got arrested in March, and then March, April, May, June, July. So 4 months later, they decided to take a couples trip. Because remember, she had also said after the ring video, end of story, it was a little scuffle, nothing to see here, folks, right? But they were also separated at that time, unbeknownst to us. They were living together, but separated. So now it makes me feel like when Dr. Heavenly told us that when she told Phaedra Apollo was going to, she was going to invite Apollo on the couples trip. And when she was going to invite Apollo on the couples trip, and she called Phaedra, and she says that Phaedra said, "Oh, I already know. He tells me everything. He doesn't make any moves without me knowing. I already know." Right? And then Dr. Heavenly said, "Oh, I also invited Shireen," and to which Phaedra said, "Oh, he not bringing her. He would never. He not bringing her." So maybe Phaedra knew that they were already separated and living together, but not together. Maybe she already knew. So that's why it was going to be fine for Apollo to come. But then when Phaedra brings Sheik to the party and Apollo finds out, he doubles back and brings Shireen on the couples trip with them. And now we also know that Shireen laid into Phaedra Parks, read her for filth. I mean, a good old country read. I can't wait to see how this Copes lady reads Phaedra Parks. Because ever since Candy Burris brought Shireen Copes on Real Housewives of Atlanta, I've been interested to see what has Phaedra running from scenes. Okay. So it's interesting to me that these two would have shown up as a united front against Phaedra Parks on behalf of Apollo, only for him to, right before the episode airs, get blown out that they aren't even together. So are they playing in our faces? Was all of this for Phaedra to get back over to the Real Housewives of the Titanic? Thanks for popping in this morning. Go ahead and smash that like button, smash the subscribe button. If you haven't already, ring the bell. Toot Latree, thanks for coming back. Something happened to the last live. I don't know. I was just talking and I was reading the story, and then I noticed that it was spinning, and then I went back and looked at the video, and you guys hadn't been with me since I made coffee, and I was like, dang. So I decided to come back. Toot Latrice is in the house. She said Blind Item also said that Shireen had two friends with her and they tried to jump Phaedra. Ooh, I did not know that. What do you mean? Bravo blind item also said. Let me see. Where's my phone? Where can I find Bravo blind item? Where did I look that up? It's in there charging. But really? Well, you know what? Dr. Heavenly did not confirm that, but we will. I don't know. I'm gonna ask her. I'm gonna ask her if Shireen brought friends and that the people are alleging that. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find that out because look, I don't know. And then that's weird. Isn't that weird too, Latrice? Like, would you bring your girlfriends on a trip to help jump a bitch when you're not even with her ex anymore? Unless you found out that bitch was doing some deplorable shit to you behind the scenes that needs checking, right? Oh, so I don't know. Maybe Phaedra did something to Shireen. Or maybe the fact that she was with Sheik, who's with Shireen's brother. I told you how they were doing some Vanderpump Rules type bodily fluid swap where Sheik has ties to Shireen and Apollo and ties to Shireen specifically because he has been dating her sister for a long time. And they're saying that he's a bit of a peen boy, a community peen boy. Yeah. Interesting, interesting. So I wonder is Phaedra trying to blame that on Dr. Heavenly too? And when in how she's all blaming everything on Dr. Heavenly. Yes, yes. You didn't know that? So yeah, you guys, Sheik, the guy that Phaedra brought to the trip, who she allegedly happened to meet at the pimps up, hose down, sugar baby, sugar mama situation, dating, speed dating thing put on by Sweet and Sour. Remember? And she pretended like she didn't know him. But then he did a scoop up of her the same way Apollo scooped up Ken. And I was like, that's recreating history, isn't it? And then he feeds her like how Apollo had fed her the pickles, remember? And he just keeps feeding her all this stuff. And I'm like, you've already been fed, Phaedra. We don't want to see your lips wrapped around nothing. It's not, I don't like watching old people eat personally. Like if I go to a restaurant like Denny's, oh my God, whenever I don't go to Denny's anymore, but when I used to go to Denny's, I used to not be able to sit across from old people because I did not want to see them eat, Yeah, I couldn't. I don't know. I'm sorry if that's too much. But Apollo and Sheik and Shireen spend Thanksgivings together, you guys. Sheik has been over their house for Thanksgiving. Now that we know they've only literally been together for what, 2 years. They got married in 2022, separated in 23, living together through 2024. She's filing for divorce in 2025. The whole time, Sheik has been going over to their house for Thanksgiving. And Sheik has been actively smashing Shireen's sister. Okay? So that's why I'm thinking when Sheik got the call to show up at the trip, maybe he called Shireen and was like, oh, she called and I'm going to the couples trip. And then Shireen was like, oh, well, Apollo said I wasn't going to go. But if you're going, I'm going. I'm not going to give that woman yeah. So I'm thinking that maybe Phaedra already knew they were separated because if she knows everything Apollo does, he doesn't make any moves without her knowing, except for he didn't know that she was going to bring these other girls to jump her ass. But when Phaedra goes back and tells Dr. Heavenly that it's all Dr. Heavenly's fault because she's the daughter of Satan or whatever she says, no, bitch, you the three playing in our faces. Is Apollo in on the shits with Phaedra? Are we going to see Apollo make a resurrection appearance over on the Real Housewives of Titanic? I don't know. But she sure did file for divorce. But the timeline is still the timeline, you guys. It's very interesting to me that a separated woman who's living as a separated woman is part of their written agreement that we're living in separate lives. Okay, but the agreement to live separately didn't happen until 3 months after their appearance on Married to Medicine. So the agreement of just living in the marital home until both find a separate place, that happened 3 months after they went to the sandbar with Married to Medicine. And the sandbar with Married to Medicine happened about 3.5 months after he allegedly assaulted her and that ring video footage came up. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like we might be getting played with. We might be getting played with, you guys. But you know how much freaking Bravo loves a con. So I could see him having a place at BravoCon. Get it? That's why they call it BravoCon. That's why Bravo's whole brand became BravoCon, allegedly. In my opinion, this is all allegedly for entertainment purposes. But to me, the reason they call it BravoCon is because Bravo loves a good con or a convict or a case pending or people with racist slips showing. Yep, I said it. And I still like their shows. I mean, I don't appreciate those types of things, but I don't like when my entertainment triggers me. Yeah, I don't like it. But anyway, you guys, I don't want to keep you too long. I already been on here one time before. I just came back because I saw the story didn't stick. So the divorce is really happening. The timeline is sketchy. And we'll see if what I'm saying is going to happen, because I have a feeling that perhaps Apollo and Shireen helped Phaedra off of Married to Medicine and on to Real Housewives of Atlanta because Phaedra uses what happens on the sandbar and Apollo coming with his wife as ammunition to help, as leverage to help get her off of and out of her contract on Married to Medicine, which we heard was a 3-year contract. And this would only be her 2nd year in a contract. And could he have helped her into a situation that she could leverage to break her contract so that she could be free to go over to Real Housewives of Atlanta? I'm wondering. I mean, Apollo's down with the con. He's down with the grift. He knows how to run a long game. I'm not saying nothing. These are all just allegedly thoughts in my mind. But I'm saying Phaedra is that smart, Latrice. She's that smart. She thinks she's the sharpest knife in the drawer. And I can see her doing some stuff like this because she was already wanting out of Married to Medicine. Look at her behavior post her first season. She gave us fabulous wigs and smirks all season. She didn't give us anything of substance on Married to Medicine. And then on the 2nd season, and then she actively worked to get Quad off the show, the lady who helped her get on the show. And then she made an alliance with the 2 lowest people on the rung of Married to Medicine. Contessa and Sweet and Sour is Phaedra's alliance because she can be over them. You know, they might, Contessa might be a doctor, but she's nobody compared to Phaedra Parks, allegedly, right? So that's why in the alliance of Contessa, Phaedra, and Sweet and Sour, Phaedra's the brains for sure. She's driving it. And the other 2 girls are her underlings, right? And but she was already off Dr. Heavenly. She was already running against Dr. Jackie. Her and Simone have never been like that. Her and Toya have never really been like that. So I could see her devising some type of something Because how did it go from Apollo's wife wasn't going to come and Phaedra not having a date to Sheik popping up and then Shireen popping up and then that snowballing into Phaedra feeling under attack physically and whatever else, and then turning that into, oh, all these girls are mean girls against me. Yep, the fight was the ammunition she needed, right? So everybody has a role to play. The fight was and look, Toot Latrice, we're figuring that out over here on LRGA Curves. Okay, this is the first place we're talking about. I haven't heard this theory anywhere, but as soon as I saw they were getting divorced, I started scratching my head and I said, head, what do we have here? Some fakey McFuckerson going on? Is this some fakey McFuckerson shit happening? Are they playing in our faces? I mean, come on now. I'm tired of these reality shows playing in our freaking faces. Shireen was not supposed to be there. The next day, we see he had just left. So on the phone call before vibe check, before Quad divulged everything that Dr. G did to her, remember Dr. Heavenly was on the phone and she's like, oh, you still coming? He's like, yeah. And he's like, you bringing your wife? And she's like, no. Okay. And then who comes to the thing? I'm thinking that this may be part of the plot. And because Phaedra has the purse strings and Apollo and Phaedra have interest in keeping their roofs over their children's head, I could see him being in cahoots with Phaedra for the benefit of the children, because if she's working, they're living a good life. Right? Okay, we figured it out. If this turns out to be true, remember you heard it here first on LRGA Curves, you guys. Me and Toot Latrice was the only ones up in here talking about it. And we are in agreement that this could be the ammunition Phaedra Parks needed to get out of her contract with Married to Medicine, jump into a contract with Real Housewives of Atlanta, because let them tell it, the way that she has been able to maneuver and play those quote white boys behind the scenes, meaning production. Yeah, she's doing just enough of her Esquire stuff and trader stuff. I could see it happening. I don't know. This is just allegedly, in my opinion. Yep, facts. He did take that charge for Phaedra. Exactly. Apollo's a good guy. And for Phaedra and him to still have a semi-amicable relationship and her still keep the appearance that she doesn't really mess with him, but he's always there for her to clean it up and do what she needs. Okay. Okay. The way I thought it was in sickness and in health till death do us part. He got those charges. She was like, oh, we're parted. And everybody thought, and for her to play like she didn't know nothing, really? So you didn't know nothing that was in those bags, nothing that was at the house, but you know everything. You're the smartest bitch in the room all the time, but you didn't know that? Okay, but hey, sometimes wives don't know. He is always there for her. Exactly. I think they have like that kind of just, they're in it till the end. The kids created a bond with them. I think they really did love each other. And now finding out what a con Phaedra is also, I can see how they could have had a lot in common, you know? I do appreciate Apollo's, he be telling everything. He doesn't see a problem telling everything. And that's just what we need as a juxtaposition to Phaedra's good secret lying ass. I love a person that'll tell you everything. Yep, but we'll see. We'll see, you guys. Anyway, Curvies, thanks for coming through this morning. Go ahead and smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, finish your coffee. Know that there's enough to go around, so go get some, okay? And you're here to be awesome, so make it the day you deserve. Happiness is a choice. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.